Welcome to Words Win Wednesday. You are inside the house with yours truly, Joe Big House Kenn. This is officially launching episode 1 of our weekly show. Well, I will be giving you my opinions, whether you like them or not, because I reserve the right to be wrong, on all things related to sports, health, fitness, and any other subject matter I deem important, and I want to get you to know what I'm thinking about. On this episode, we're going to talk about the origins of my mission mantra, words win. And for most of you who hear the term words win, you automatically think words win. And yes, that's part of the equation. But the truth is, the actual meaning is the word is win. Where did I get this from? I stole it. That's right. I stole it from Coach Dennis Erickson when he coached the 2007 Arizona State Sun Devils to a Pac-10 Championship in his first year after replacing my very good friend and one of my mentors in coaching, Dirk Cutter. So what we were going through was a big coaching change. And a lot of things happening during coaching changes. What's right, what's wrong, that's for another story. But Coach came in with one specific motto, was words win. He didn't care anything else but winning. And with 2 national championships, who wasn't going to listen? When Coach came in, we were a very successful program. We were going to bowl games, winning more than we've lost, but it seemed like administration wanted to change. That was a tough one for me, but fortunately, I was able to be retained, and I was able to see a Pac-10 title come to the Sun Devils with a 10-3 season that capped off with a Holiday Bowl loss to Texas. But what Coach Erickson instilled was a belief in winning. And the only thing that mattered to him was words win. Through that process and through that season, it became evident that the things that he incorporated probably were necessary changes at that time in the program. But we had a strong senior class, 27 seniors. That made a huge difference when it came to the leadership we needed and the work ethic we needed to win 10 games. But specifically, when you talk about these mantras and how you build these beliefs in who you are and what you are, words win stood out to me more than just the winning. And we did win. We wound up going 8-0 right off the bat. Then we lost a couple of tough ones and we finished out beating our rival Arizona and then losing to Texas in a tough Holiday Bowl. And after that, I actually left to go to the University of Louisville. Another story for Words Win Wednesday at another time. But as I looked at words win, it's such an easy thing that rolls off the tongue. I started to look at more than just the winning part. And remember, in sports, one thing matters, winning. But in life, you can win in a lot of different ways, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But the concept of words win outside of just winning was I looked at back at the things that we had established under Coach Cutter and the previous regime for 6 years. And that was building a team-based approach to how we were going to use a value system and so-called culture and create an environment that was going to be successful not only on the field, but off the field. And that talking about preparation, sacrifice, fighting adversity. Those were our top values when we were with Coach Cutter. So I looked at how do I mold the principles I learned from one coach and the highly successful simplicity of winning with another coach and tie this into a way that I believe both were possible. And that's where I looked at how do I take words win as a personal mission mantra rather than creating a mission statement, which are very hard to continually to remember. And a lot of times what we find out when we're creating mission statements, we create mission paragraphs. And nobody wants to hear a mission paragraph. That's why I prefer mantras, not only in my daily life, but in how I coach things and relay things to my staff. So with this process of words win, you're looking at ways to wake up with a positivity, and it all starts the night before. How you will go to sleep and your attitude going to sleep generally will follow you when you wake up the next morning. So it's very important when you're building this emotional state of positiveness that you go to bed and you prepare yourself for bed and you wipe off anything that would be considered not a words win moment of the day. But the ultimate goal is, can you stack enough bricks from winning certain aspects throughout the day and establishing this point system, so to speak, where every day you've outdone yourself by winning more than not necessarily losing, but not achieving certain goals you may have wanted to accomplish in that day. All this builds into this process of staying goal oriented, staying as positive as you can, working towards those wins. A lot of things can turn into words win moments. Turning in a project on time that allows you to get a promotion. Doing a great presentation in front of your peers and it allows you to be recognized as someone who they can count on. Going out and challenging yourself from a physical standpoint and something you may not believe you can do, and you accomplish that goal over time. These are all words win moments. It's not necessarily winning something, which is extremely important in sports. Obviously, most people that compete in sports, the ultimate goal is to win. And that's where the words win mantra derived from. But winning in life has a lot of different attributes and a lot of different ways you can be successful, because a lot of times, a lot of us are not participating in sports. So we have to achieve things through our careers, our personal lives, etc. And that's extremely hard. I'd like to think I'm winning more than I'm not winning, but I still have a lot of things to work on. And a lot of that comes into your concepts, your emotional quotient, knowing your role, managing expectations, etc. But the other thing about words win is actually words do win. And when you look at it from the walk the walk, talk the talk type of scenarios where, hey, if you're going to talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. That's right. Because actions speak louder than words sometimes. So if you're going to say something, you got to be willing to have the fortitude to go through it and act on what you say. And also, when you're strongly opinionated like I am, you got to be ready to present your arguments if people want to debate you. And again, I reserve the right to be wrong. I've always said that. I don't have all the answers. I've been doing this profession, so to speak, or career within fitness and strength for over 40 years. I've been through it through 5 decades. I'm going to have strong opinions. It's going to be hard to get me off those opinions, but then again, I understand opinions are strong, and if I believe it in my heart, as some people else do with their opinions, I can understand that we can both agree to disagree. But right speech and right actions are critical to being able to self-criticize yourself. I know there's a lot of times I'm misunderstood by my opinions and how I say things because of the way that I think in certain subjects. And that's okay. And I'm not talking about the ones that always get people into arguments. I'm talking about just things that happen in my world, different books that I read, different philosophies, different programming. And again, that's why I say a lot of times, I know what I know what I need to know, I know what I want to know, and I know what I don't care to know. Because at this point in time, some of these things are just irrelevant, and I'm not going to get into arguments with things that you believe in wholeheartedly, because again, I would expect you to believe in anything you're doing with so much passion like I do, that again, it would hurt if someone says, I don't believe in that. So the words win mantra for me means trying to win certain projects and trying to be successful throughout the day, taking losses as a chance to learn and improve, building this specific way I want to approach life in a positive way and to give back in my ways to others, whether it be family, which I'd be honest with you, I need to do a better job of family related givebacks because I've given so much to the career and profession I choose, and my passion and emotion for that is so great that sometimes I forget that it's more important to be with my wife and kids. I mean, I'm just being upfront. To me, that's important to self-criticize, look yourself in the mirror and challenge yourself to be better. My wife challenges me on that specific point every single day. And it's good to be able to have her have the confidence and trust in the relationship that we have to be able to say that to me without worrying about hurting my feelings. Because again, it is something I need to work on. So the words win mantra in a nutshell. Yes, it means winning, but it's more than that. It's what are your personal values? Can you stack sprints? Can you set objective goals that are not so easy to accomplish, but that can realistically be accomplished at a certain point in time if you set a specific date. It could be a body weight challenge. It could be a strength challenge. It could be, I walked a half a mile today. I want to walk a half a mile in one step tomorrow. I'll be sure that I give my best efforts to my kids, my grandkids, my wife. I want to make sure that I support them the right way. I want to make sure that I am continually striving to be a better person. And more importantly, sometimes it's, can you just sometimes take a little bit to sit back and smell the roses? And then remember, right speech, very hard, because a lot of people are opinionated, especially in this day and age of social media. I think it's a big importance to do a little research before you say things that could come back and bite you. But in this day and age, people just see a clip and they want to get their opinions out without doing enough background check on, hey, what's really going on here? With that being said, I just want to wrap this up with, what is your mission mantra? How are you going to establish those values that go with it? And then how are you going to live that on a daily, hourly, every minute, weekly, monthly, yearly, so that you can stack enough bricks that your whole life surrounds yourself with words win moments, positivity, and the ability to say sometimes you're wrong, and to look yourself in the mirror and know that every day you wake up, you're trying to be the best version of you. With that being said, we'll see you next week, and words win. Thank you very much for listening.